Okay, hello everybody, happy Friday, and want to jump on and make this video to share some inspirational mindset gems to wrap up the week and to share some ideas with somebody that might need to hear this today. So Debbie and I are doing some videos from ideas inspired by the book U Squared by Price Pritchett, a really powerful book and worth getting a copy. It's a very thin book, but the chapters are very short and very punchy. And I want to share some highlights from one of the chapters today, and it's called Rely on the Unseen Forces. And I'm going to give some examples with just from examples from our coaching company and our clients and how they're navigating, moving into areas of the unknown. We have a lot of clients that are changing careers, and there is a lot of in the programming where we feel like we should know how everything's going to happen before we get started. And oftentimes, especially with entrepreneurship, like the how is revealed as you go. So we encourage people to make peace with the unknown. Like there are going to be things that are new, things that are different, but you're trusting yourself and your ability to navigate everything, but also that there is a universal system of things that you have access to. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. So I'm going to read a few highlights. And if anyone is watching this and they're thinking about changing their life in some area and the how is preventing them from starting, just realize that you figure out the how as you go, and the how is what stops most people. So we want to get out past that. And as Bob Proctor would say, the fun is in finding out how you're going to get there. And this takes a lot of mental discipline and faith. So this chapter, Rely on the Unseen Force, I'm going to read a few segments from it. I'm just going to make some comments on it and share some ideas. So he says, improving your performance by an order of magnitude, U squared, can sound unrealistic if you think of it as something you have to do all by yourself, but you don't. Forget the idea that you should be able to see tangibly and in full view all the resources necessary to leverage your performance so dramatically. There are resources you can access that cannot be seen, and they are far greater and more powerful than the resources you might readily observe. Absence of evidence is not evidence of their absence. Okay, we have so many examples of people who set goals, and after they set goals, a person shows up, an opportunity shows up, an idea. And oftentimes when people reflect on the goal achievement process, and Steve Jobs says this a lot, you can only really connect the dots looking back. When you're going forward, it can look a bit like what's happening, where is the goal, how is this working out? And then it's all revealed. And retrospectively, you think, well, if I hadn't met that person or this opportunity or said yes to this, it wouldn't have all aligned to here. So there is a bit of trust in the process and faith. And you have faith based on your behavior. We talk a lot about applied faith, okay? Taking action, moving in the direction, moving confidently in the direction without knowing every part of the puzzle piece, like moving forward, and more will be revealed. And serious goal achievement demands a ton of faith. And, you have to think about it like this. Your goal is a spiritual seed. So if you think about a seed planted in the ground, the seed is there. It doesn't go anywhere. It's planted in the ground and it attracts energy all the way from the sun and nutrients from the soil, and everything just marches in an orderly fashion. And the reason for that is there's an energetic system in the soil. But as well as in the soil is an energetic system in the universe. So you set a goal, you plant it deeply into your mind like a spiritual seed, and everything will start to march in. People, opportunities, ideas, resources, everything. Now, as everything starts to march into your reality, then it's the bravery to take action on it, because you might be watching this and there might be an opportunity you've attracted but haven't taken action on. So we want to also, have a bit of courage, the courage to take bold moves and to really pursue the life by design. We talk a lot about this in our mentorship. A lot of people are living a life by default. I know I accepted ideas from the environment. I accepted different cultural programming. And then I realized, okay, like what would my life by design look like? And it took me a while to figure out, like, what does that look like? What do I want my life to look like? And then as I started to design it out, and then the courage to pursue that lifestyle. So, and really retrospectively, like my life has changed basically in every area. And I've been in this material, personal and professional development, for 5 years now. And looking back, I remember when I first started, I was studying a program by Bob Proctor, and he said, if you really apply this material, you'll need a telescope to look back to where you were. So yeah, it's interesting to look back. And again, looking back, connecting the dots and how everything was aligning. And that's why this chapter and this idea is so important. So he says here as well later on, paint a vivid picture in your mind for these forces to know precisely what you want. In one way or another, the unseen forces will dazzle you with their impact. Count on it. Quantum leaps come easy when you plug into this remarkable power source. You don't have to understand it totally in order to use it, just as you don't have to comprehend the intricate physics of energy to flip a lamp switch and flood the room with light. When you focus constantly on a clear picture of what you want to accomplish and move toward it confidently, the unseen forces will rally to your support. These unknowns, these invisible invisible resources are the most powerful factors available to assist you in making the quantum leap to U squared. There's a lot happening behind the scenes. You'll set a goal and you set the goal, but you're navigating your current environment. That's not everything that's out there. That's not everything that you have access to. When I was wanting to teach this material internationally and I was considering moving from Ireland, I didn't know where I was going to move to, how that was going to work out, what it would look like. I ended up attracting a friend who moved from France to Ireland. We became friends, and then I was considering moving to the US, and then she got a role that she, quote unquote, randomly applied for in Denver, and we ended up moving to Denver. So be careful if you start putting words like international into your script, you might end up moving. But the point about it is, at the time, like, it can look so confusing. It's like, how is this working out? But behind the scenes, everything is actually being coordinated. And my role was to stay loyal to the idea of the career path that I was choosing for myself, regardless of the how or how it would look like or how I would go about that. So it's pretty cool to look back, but there is a layer of tuning into new potentials and realizing that we all have access to this universal power, and we're cutting it off with limiting beliefs. So you've got to get out of limiting beliefs and start to tune in to higher potential, tune into the potentials of expansion, and tune into the potentials of growth and evolvement. And once you get onto that frequency, watch what shows up in your life. So if you're watching this and you have an idea of an action step that you need to take, but you might be wondering like how it would work out or anything, move forward. Do some bold actions. Like, the universe really throws itself on the side of the person that's serious. And we ask our clients this a lot in our mentorship, you know, based on your behavior, does it look like you're serious about your goals? So we want to show the universe that we are serious about our goals and that we're the ones to bet on. So that's some gems and some ideas to wrap up for Friday. If anyone has any questions about that or any questions about coaching or mentorship, reach out to myself or Debbie, and we would love to hear from you. Happy Friday, everybody, and have a wonderful weekend ahead.